Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today is an exciting one. Today I'm going to be reviewing Tati Westbrook's new brush line, Details by Tati. I got the Essential and the Expansion set. There is a third set that I wasn't able to grab just for financial restrictions, but I am happy to report that I was able to get two of them, and today I'm going to tell you my honest review, my honest thoughts, and if they're worth your money. So right now the brushes are on sale for 25% off. So each set is I think $99. It ships for free in the US, which I think is awesome. And at first I want to dive into the packaging. So I'm going to cut to some footage. Packaging A+. I love the box. I love that they took the effort to make an insert with Tati on it. They put the XO Tatis, a new chapter is coming. They also threw in some little cute picture cards of her for the shoot of the launch and a little card with care instructions. In terms of how the brushes were packaged, they came in really simple but still cute packaging. I like that they weren't in like individual boxes, or a lot of times when you get brushes, they have these hard plastic things over the actual brush. None of those, so there's no wasteful packaging, which I really liked. And I have some thoughts. Like I said, I got the Essential set and I also got the Expansion set. I forget what the third set is called. I do want to get it eventually because, spoiler alert, I really do enjoy these brushes. As I go through and show you them in use, and as I give you a review of my favorites of the brushes that I got, I'm also going to show you what I currently, or what I previously used for a brush for that role, and if the Details by Tati brush has replaced it. So let's get started. So for my base, I typically go in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Filter, followed by the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. And for that, I used her ES2, which is this double-sided brush. And this is kind of like the brush that she touts as being almost like the best one. I think she thinks they're all really good, but this is like the star of the show. And I have to say it kind of is. One thing I noticed that I really like when I was using the buffing side, when I was applying the e.l.f. Halo Glow Filter, is the way this metal part of the brush is shaped. It allows you to hold it like this, so you can really get in there and buff it really nice. I thought that was unique. And then for my foundation, I went in with this side, which I think I have to give it to her. I think this is like the most unique foundation brush I've ever seen, and I was doubtful. I was like, that's gonna suck. It works. You can see in the footage how I'm painting on my foundation. It paints on the most even full coverage layer. The product is stretched so far. Like, I didn't even need a full pump of my foundation to cover my whole face and get satisfactory coverage. So I have to say, I think this brush, the the ES2, I think this is probably my #1 favorite in all of the brushes that I got from Details by Tati. So I really did love this. Previously, what I have been using for foundation is the Rare Beauty one that looks like this, and I have to say this like blew it out of the water, so this is going bye-bye. For concealer, historically, I've used the concealer brush that everyone loves and raves about from BK Beauty, which is the A506. It looks like this. It kind of has like that pointed shape, and the one that I use from Details by Tati for my concealer is the EX4. So let me give you a side-by-side of how they look different. Similar, but they are very different, let me assure you. So I use the EX4 for my under eye concealer, and what I loved about it is it blended it really even, and it's almost more round and more curved than the BK Beauty one, and it really allowed me to get into these little inner corners inside my eyes that I do struggle to get concealer in with the BK Beauty brush, as well as really through the creases in my eyes. It just spread it really evenly and really easily, whereas with the BK Beauty A506, like, it doesn't quite get in there as good. So I really did like this brush a lot. I think it's unique, and I think it is better than the BK Beauty one. To set my under eye, I went in with the EX3, kind of like this pointy tapered brush, and usually for that, I would use this Morphe brush. It's the Morphe times Ariel A14. It's really small. You can't cover a lot of ground. And what I like about the EX3 from Details by Tati is you can cover so much surface area, and because it has this little point, you can get right in the inner corner and pat it out. I think it does a much better job. I also feel like because it's like almost like a thinner, flatter brush, the powder is like being pressed into my skin a lot better, so my under eye concealer sets a lot nicer. So I definitely did love this one. For my bronzer and contour, I used the EX1, which is like this jumbo, almost like fan brush. You can see how thick it is though. And this made bronzing my face the easiest thing ever. It was like boom, 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 boom. Like I was whipping through my bronzer and contouring, and it just diffused the product very nicely. For this step, I usually use like a typical blush brush, and I think this is so much more elevated and did a way better job. So this gets an A+ from me. Another more unique brush in the line is going to be the EX6. And it's this really small brush. It kind of has like this dome shape to it. And I use this to contour my nose with bronzer. So I think this is really special because you can get so precise with how narrow you want your nose to look. This, you can be so precise with your nose contour, and I just don't have another brush like this. I think this is like an extremely unique brush, and I really like it, and it did contour my nose quite nice. Typically with eyeshadow, I keep my look very simple. I do one color in this video clip I use bronzer, and I blend it all over my eye, my crease, and in my under eyes. So for that, I used the ES4, and then I also blended it some more with the EX5. These two blending brushes, one is tapered. You'll see one is tapered and one is not. And these worked great. I just don't think, you know, they're the most unique brushes in the line. They are really good and they do what they're supposed to do, but I wouldn't say these are like the stars of the show. And then same thing for this. I used this brush to kind of blend my bronzer underneath my eyes. This is the ES6, kind of like a little pencil brush. So again, these are good, but they're not like unique to her brush line the way some of the other ones are. For blush, I used the ES3, which is this kind of tapered, smaller powder brush. And I was pleasantly surprised because typically what I use for my blush is this one from It Cosmetics. And as you can see, they're very different in shape. And this is just what I was used to. So I was a little nervous to use this, but I feel like I could be so much more precise with my blush placement. Whereas with the It one, I'm just kind of like slapping it all over my face. So I did really like the precision of it. I feel like it diffused the blush in a really natural way, and it didn't look as heavy as it usually does, which I really liked because I am someone who goes very heavy-handed with my blush. Then I want to talk about brows. I mean, this one I don't think is anything crazy special. I do really like how lightweight it is, and I think the spoolie and the actual brush are good quality. This is the ES7. I use this for my brows. I just use eyeshadow on my brows today. And it's just a basic brow brush. You have this side and then you have the spoolie, and that's kind of it. And it's good, but like I said with the eyeshadow brushes, not the star of the show. The last brush I want to talk about that I think is one of the stars of the show is going to be, what is it? It's going to be the EX7. So I have never in my life used an eyeliner brush this little and this precise. Look how small it is. Like, are you kidding? This, when I was blending my eyeliner, you can get far so down into your inner corner and pull it out and do the finest wing. I've never used an eyeliner brush like this. For comparison, what I was using is this one by Morphe, which is the A18. So let me show you them side by side just so you can see how small the Details by Tati one is. So you can see, big difference. The Details by Tati one is so much more precise. So definitely that one is a star. Three brushes that I haven't really used that much since getting them are gonna be the ES5, which is like this sort of paddle brush. I find with brushes like this, I mainly just use my finger instead. This one is the EX2, which I think would be really good for more like precision powder or even for blush. And then the big fluffy powder brush, which is the ES1, which I definitely think I will get use out of in the summer when I'm setting my whole face. So I have my notes written down about these. In terms of, you know, overall things, the quality is really nice. The handles feel weighted, but not too heavy. They feel very ergonomic in your hands when you're applying them. And I think ultimately what I will say is that when I've used these brushes, you can tell that's someone who loves makeup and someone who does a lot of makeup made them. It's not like a generic e.l.f. makeup brush that you're picking up at Target. There are these little details, like Details by Tati. There are these little details in the designs of the brushes that make doing your makeup an easier and more pleasurable experience. And as someone who's used, you know, IT brushes, MAC brushes, e.l.f. brushes, Morphe brushes, my experience using these over the course of the last week has been that you could tell there's love behind them, and they really do impact the way your makeup goes on. Stars of the show are this EX6, the EX7, the concealer brush I really like, the EX4, and then especially the ES2. Like, this brush is like, should win an award because it's so good. And so while I do love all the brushes and I do get use out of all of them, those are the ones that I feel like are standouts in the line. So I know Tati and James have been talking about, you know, eventually selling singles. So if you're someone who maybe can't afford a full brush set, but you do want to get the singles, I think those 4 are ones that I would get first. But I do think all the brushes are lovely. I think the quality is there. Obviously, over time, we will see how they hold up. I'm someone where I take really good care of my brushes, so I can get a Morphe brush to last 10 years. So I think these are gonna do just fine. I will say that this is an honest review. I paid for these with my own hard-earned money, and that is why I only got 2 sets, not the 3rd one. And I would like to congratulate Tati and her husband James on killing it with this launch, because I really do think these are special. And I think anyone who has the pleasure of getting them as a gift or purchasing them for themselves and using them is going to be impressed. So I'm really happy for them. So that is my review, my honest, unfiltered review of Tati Westbrook's new Details by Tati brush line. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will answer them pretty quickly because I'm always in my comments. And let me know if you've tried the brushes, if you were thinking of buying them. These brushes are well worth the price. I think they're priced very fair for what they are. And I do feel like they fill gaps in the average person's makeup brush collection. But yeah, like and subscribe if you're new here. Comment below, say hi, let me know what you think about these brushes, if you bought them, if you tried them. And I will see you guys very soon in my next video. All right.